Boys and girls, welcome back to the channel, and today I have something I have been very excited about for the past couple of days. So, this right here is the Thrustmaster T16000M FCS flight control system. This is a HOTAS system, or hands-on throttle and stick, which is pretty self-explanatory. It is made for flight simulators, so anything that involves a plane, a helicopter, anything like that, this is one of the control systems that you can buy for that. These range in price from about $20 or $25 for a super cheap one. This is more in the middle range. This was about $100, but the Thrustmaster Warthog, which is basically the cream of the crop when it comes to your hands-on throttle and stick systems, is almost $500 if I'm remembering correctly. But the reason I bought this right here is because I recently bought Elite Dangerous. So, if any of you guys have heard of Star Citizen or No Man's Sky, I know that's kind of a taboo name to throw out there now, but if any of you guys have heard of either of those games, Elite Dangerous is pretty much exactly like that. It's a sandbox space flight simulator, and it is a lot of fun. So, the great thing about it is that you don't have to conform to any storyline. You don't have to conform to really any rules minus the physics rules that are in the game. You can play as a pirate and try and steal other people's cargo. You can play as, an enforcer and try and kill the pirates. You can play as a trader and just trade things. You can do pretty much whatever you want. So I've really been enjoying that, and after I think just about 2 days of having Elite Dangerous, I totally impulse bought this because I figured I would be playing Elite Dangerous for quite some time. So, with that, all of that said, this is what this thing actually looks like right here. So we've got 6 buttons on either side for various functions. What's really nice about Elite Dangerous is that I believe this HOTAS system was actually kind of created specifically for that game. So this was totally plug and play. So, you plug this in, it's just a couple of USB cables, and, it's actually got a built-in control scheme for this specific system right here. So, right here we have 6 buttons on either side, like I mentioned before. We've got this slider thing here, which I think was originally the throttle for this system, but because this is a more revised system, it has its own bespoke throttle. Couple of buttons here, just, like a hat button here, a couple of buttons here, one here, and then we have the trigger on the back. And then this right here is the very complex throttle. So, normal throttle just slides back and forth like that. There are 1, 2, 3 hat switches right here, which are, this one I believe is only a 3-way hat, this one I believe is 8-way, this one is 8-way as well. We've got a button here, we've got a joystick thing right here, which I use in Elite Dangerous for the lateral and vertical thrusters, which is very unique and something that I'd never actually seen before in a flight game. More back here, we've got a couple of other buttons. We've got this switch right here, which is basically just a toggle switch, and then we've got these 2 kind of weird rocker paddles here. Lastly, we have a pinky sort of dial here, which we can use for another axis. I don't actually believe that's mapped to anything by default for Elite Dangerous, but I'm sure I'll find some use for it eventually. So, with all of that said, I'm sure you guys are wondering how exactly this works in-game. So I'm going to cut to some gameplay right now to show you guys exactly what the game looks like if you haven't seen it before, and to show you exactly how the game can be played with this system right here. So this right here is Elite Dangerous. So all of the movements that are taking place in this clip, and in fact every action that takes place in this clip, is being performed with my control stick and my throttle. So the control stick has a trigger on the back. That's obviously the trigger for your weapons, and most of the other weapon controls are actually on your throttle. So all of the, hat buttons and D-pads and things like that on the throttle can actually be mapped to your buttons if you want to change fire groups, which is the groups of weapons that fire together, or if you want to cycle between which target on your screen you are targeting and you have the reticle positioned over. Most of that stuff is actually done on the throttle because there are actually more buttons and controls on the throttle than there are on the control stick. There are a couple of buttons, like I said in the previous clip, on either side of the control stick, but those are mostly for things like landing gear and your ship lights and things like that, so they don't really have much bearing on your ship's performance. But this has absolutely changed the way I have played this game. My aiming is more precise. I'm able to turn a little bit better because while the mouse controls aren't horrible, they're really not ideal. I did try this game out with an Xbox controller, but there are just so many different controls and keybinds that there was no way I was going to remember every single one of them, which is part of the reason that I bought, kind of a higher end control stick, because I knew I wanted one anyway, but I didn't want to spend, $12 or $20 and get something super cheap. But with everything that I just said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Look forward to lots and lots of Elite Dangerous videos. I got a couple of my friends to buy it, and I think a couple more of my friends could be buying it pretty soon, so look out for videos on that. And until the next time, Commanders, I will see you Starside. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. And today I have something I have been very excited about for the past couple of days. So, this right here is the Thrustmaster T16000M FCS flight control system. This is a HOTAS system, or hands-on throttle and stick, which is pretty self-explanatory. It is made for flight simulators. So, anything that involves a plane, a helicopter, anything like that, this is one of the control systems that you can buy for that. These range in price from